Hey everybody, I wanted to give a quick video on something. As I was looking at my YouTube in the morning, I like to see what 3i Atlas and Swan and the rest of the comments are doing, or what's happening in the latest AI. I saw this pop up, and obviously everyone's heard about the GitHub Spec kit and the BMAD method, and I'll talk about that in a minute as well. But I there was on this page, and I'll link it in. There's this blog, and it's from GitHub blog, and this really made me stop. What is spec-driven development? Instead of coding first and writing docs later, in spec-driven development, you start with you guessed it, spec. This is a contract for how your code should behave and becomes the source of truth for your tools and AI agents used to generate, test, and validate code. The result is less guesswork, fewer surprises, and higher quality code. And I guess the reason I kind of just stopped was, like, who's honestly doing web dev or system dev or any kind of development without working out what they want to build first, right? And I think this might be because there's been a lot lately about one-shotting things. Can Codex CLI from OpenAI, can you one-shot an entire app? And it's like, sure, you can. And Grok, obviously Elon Musk came out when Grok 4 and Super Heavy landed going, hey, my guys, copy paste all of their code into this thing, and it magically kind of fixes problems. And it's like, sure, but and I'll go into a few more videos about why that works for them and it might not work for you. But this is really weird for me. Like, I've been developing software, building hardware, working in data centers. I'm a consultant at the moment. I'm 48. I began when I think my first piece of software I wrote was I was 13. Pure assembler. Maybe I'll tell that story a bit later on. But it was just very weird that it seems like there's a whole generation growing up believing that you should just be able to one-shot things. That actually, systems engineering, architecture, design are these kind of like secondary considerations. And no, they're primary considerations. They've always been primary considerations. And I will dive into both SpecKit and BMAD method. But one of the things what's really interesting is there's a command in SpecKit, which is, I think it's called constitution. You basically set a constitution, I can't find it there. And in the same way, BMAD goes through a planning workflow and so on. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, that's exactly what happens. A constitution is really just trying to tell your dev team, in human terms, you'd have standards, right? You have coding standards, testing standards, database standards, code security standards, data models, information models, knowledge models, business models, all of these things that a human dev team would look at before they even, before they got to code. They'd architect that, right? There's a reason, like if you go into an enterprise environment, you have enterprise architects, solution architects, technical architects. Now, admittedly, that whole workflow has become very onerous in enterprise. I work in enterprise. Enterprise just basically means there's a lot of money at stake. It's not really very different from what solo devs do. It's just that there's a lot more money at stake and careers, and sometimes it can be hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars at stake, right? So, and it's a really interesting thing to see that there's almost this kind of new idea, new realization of an old idea that maybe it's a good idea to design what you want to build, and especially if you're using an AI. A machine mind, that maybe you should educate that machine mind about what you actually want to build, how you want it to build, the constraints you have to put around it before you actually tell it to go do stuff, right? So I guess I just wanted to drop this video because it's really weird. For a 48-year-old, a man who spent most of his career, not all of his career, in engineering, whether that's software, data, hardware, systems, infrastructure. It's very strange to almost come full circle and go, wait a minute, like who's not doing this? I use BMAD quite a lot, to be fair. I also use Claude Flow. I still think Claude is, for me anyway, the way I work and the how I prompt, how I have a conversation with the machine mind. Claude works really well for me. I like Gemini a lot, and I might, I absolutely leverage BMAD. I will play with Spec Kit, and I might video that or stream that a bit later on. But I guess I just wanted to drop this video to say, guys, yeah, absolutely. Please design what you want first before you build it. You will have a better experience. But it was just a funny thing to realize that this was somehow new or amazing to people. It's like, yeah, it's pretty much how the whole of human endeavor works. You have to work out what you want to do before you do it. Who knew? Anyway, I will stream and record more later, but have fun, everybody, and hope you guys have a good day. God bless.